Good afternoon, everyone. So, my dear friend, today we have once again joined, and yes, welcome to this session of upGrad Abroad. And today's session we are dedicated to one of the most important aspect of overseas education, that is education loan. The normal research says that on an average, 70 to 75% of the student could not go to overseas education only because of financing, right? So we know that yes, whether it is for an tuition fee or whether it is for your living expenses, you require a huge money, and this money is in the range of say 15-20 lakhs to up to 40-50 lakh rupees. So we could understand this, and we could understand the pain point of our parents, right? So for this, today we have invited one of the most dynamic people from industry, that is, I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Aman Jain. Welcome, Aman.
Hi. Glad to be here, Ajay.
Yeah.
So
So
I really
Aman
like these
is
sessions
Yeah,
every
so
time I
Aman
come
is
here.
CMO of GyanDhan, and as we all know that yes, GyanDhan is one of the best overseas education company which provides end-to-end loan assistance to our students. So Aman, I'll request you just to have first give the students introduction of what education loan is all about, and then slowly we'll have an interaction round. Over to you, Aman.
Sure. Can you give me access to share the screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arushi, if you can please give him access to share the screen.
Done.
Done? Yeah. Right. So let me start with the very basics of financing rather than education loan, and we'll move to the education loan from there. So as you mentioned, the number you mentioned is correctly is correct that 70 to 75% of the students do mention that they face problem in arranging finances, and study abroad becoming a thing for everyone now, and everyone should be able to study abroad, and money should not be a concern for them. So there are primarily these four ways through which a person can arrange money for their education. First is that they can get scholarships, but the truth with scholarship is that they are limited in numbers. So if you're lucky, you should be able to get one. But yeah, 99% of the students will not get a full scholarship. You will get some $3,000, $2,000 off here and there. But a scholarship is not something which you can rely on 100%. If you get it, there is nothing best that can happen to anybody. And I personally recommend everyone to first explore the scholarship option before going ahead with any other option. Because if you get the free money to study abroad, there's nothing like it. There is no problem of or no tension of repaying that money. You can be as free as you want to be in choosing your career paths. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, hey, I need to take that kind of job because that pays well, and I need to repay my loan through that. So that's the one way. The second is the part-time job and assistantship. So part-time job and assistantship is something, when anybody goes abroad, everybody knows, everybody does that. And it sounds cool as well that, okay, hey, you're doing hustling, you are studying at the same time, you are becoming a waiter somewhere, or you becoming a librarian, or becoming a general store helper. And with part-time job, you can earn well as well. So in our estimation at GyanDhan, and what we in our interaction with more than 10,000 students till date, we know that students are able to secure this part-time jobs and assistantship, and primarily they are able to fund their living expenses through this. Though this option you should keep in mind, and you should arrange the finances just in case that you don't get the part-time job, but you can be assured that this is a good source of uh, financing that can be done when you go abroad. And before I come to the education loan, the fourth is self-funding. Now, the thing with self-funding is that there are two things. One is, first of all, abroad education, whatever be the case, it's expensive. It's not like, you will be able to do it in a couple of lakhs. You need at the minimum 10, 12, 15 lakh rupees for that. Majority of the students or the parents will not have that kind of savings available in liquidity, if not otherwise. And we also recommend not to go for self-funding even if you have money, because of the two reasons. The first reason is that once you have the education loan, it's assured money that, okay, hey, whenever you want, money will come. There is no like there cannot be anything else that money will come to you anytime you want during entire course of the education. Second is when you take the education loan as a instrument is being designed in such a way where you are able to get tax benefits on the top of that. So the money that you get is at a very low interest rate eventually, because you are able to save tax on the interest that you're paying to the banks. So effectively, you can get money at 7-8%. Now, me as an smart investor, what I will do, let's say if I have 20 lakh rupees, I will invest that 20 lakh rupees as per my expertise, maybe in mutual fund, real estate, or elsewhere where I'm getting 12-13% return, and use low cost fund from the bank to finance my education. And that's where the education loan is an instrument. If used smartly, even if you have money, you can save a lot. You can make money itself on the top of the money that you already have. Now, so that's what these are the benefits of taking an education. So first of all, like education loan is for everyone. It's for the people who don't have money. It's also for the people who have money. In fact, we at GyanDhan have done education loans for the child of celebrities. There is a famous band. His daughter applied for an education loan at GyanDhan. He must have already like 50 plus crores in his kitty. Even after that, he applied for an education loan. The reason is very simple. You get tax savings. And that is the same reason why people take home loans to save tax. People, do so many things to save tax. An education loan is one of them that you can do. Apart from that, with education loan, there are other benefits, like your repayment can start after your education. So for the 2 years while you're studying, at that point in time, you don't have to pay anything. After that, 6 months after that, when you get the job, then you start repaying. And it covers wide range of expenses. So it can cover your tuition fee, living expenses. It can cover even, the cost of burger that you want to eat there daily. So everything is covered in the education. And that is why the education loan should be preferred. And yeah, so over to you, Ravi. Over to you.
So Aman, just
Yeah.
one small doubt for my learners. If I talk about, you were saying that they will start the repayment only after the education, and they may be getting 6 months of job search period. So
Yeah.
is it true for all types of loan, or it is for some particular loan?
No. So there are more than 12 plus lenders in the market. Not everybody offers this option, and that is where we come into the picture.
That's
So
great.
primarily, this comes with a loan with collateral from public sector banks. So if you take a loan with collateral from public sector banks, there the repayment starts after the completion of the course plus 6 months. Whereas if you take other kind of loan, like loan without collateral from private banks or NBFCs, in all such cases, the repayment will start immediately. Now, this repayment can be different. Some players will ask you to just pay the EMIs. Other will ask you to pay the partial interest or simple interest every month till the point you get a job.
So logically, it is sometimes possible that you'll be paying only simple interest, and then EMI will be added once you finish your education, right?
Yeah. That is a very common option that everybody can get. That you just pay simple interest per month during the study period.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I was wondering in the last slide when you were saying, so this education loan is on everything. Like if I talk about, it is for your tuition fee as well as for living expenses. So this holds true for all types of loan?
No, only for education loan. So if you, let's say if you take other kind of loan, there it won't hold true. As I said, the education loan is designed in such a way to help out the students in every way possible. And that's why like people take reimbursement for their flight tickets, people take reimbursement for the laptops that they buy, people take reimbursement for any educational trip that they do. So let's say if they want to attend any conference and they've paid for it, they want to reimburse that is also possible. And most importantly, people who are going to countries like Canada, Germany, they need money in the block account. Right. Yeah. So all of that is also covered in the education loan.
Perfect.
Yeah. Right. So do you want me to continue? So we prepared a slide, or if you want to ask any relevant questions.
I mean, you can continue a slide as in when it will be required. I'll be asking on their behalf.
Sure. So let me continue from here then. And please feel free to ask any question that the students ask you.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and understand more about education loan. So basically, there are two kinds of education loan, which I just mentioned as well. One is the secured loan, which is the loan against security. Other is the unsecured loan, where you don't have to give any tangible security. Now, what is the difference? The difference is that the secured loan, you will be able to get easily, because the lenders have one security. So they know that, okay, hey, if the money is not repaid by due to whatever reason, they have this property or this FD or this plot which they can sell and recover the money. Whereas in unsecured loan, no such thing is there. There you don't require any collateral. So there they do more scrutiny. They only so there are, first of all, preconditions. The conditions like that, okay, hey, if you are looking for an unsecured loan, there are only certain number of courses and colleges which are eligible for the unsecured loan. If you are going to only one of those colleges and courses, then only you will be able to get the unsecured loan. Then there are factors like what is your IELTS score, what is your GRE GMAT score, and all of that also come into the picture. But most important factor in the unsecured loan is the co-applicant income. Co-applicant income is somebody in your family who co-apply with you, because you as a student, when you are applying, you are going abroad. So bank want or lender want somebody from India to co-apply with you. And this person should be financially sound. So primarily, let's say to get a loan of 20 lakh rupees per month, 20 lakh rupees entirely, your co-applicant, which can be your father, mother, brother, sister, and some close relative as well. Your co-applicant income should be somewhere around 35,000-40,000 rupees per month. Now the problem arises is, usually people will have that kind of income, but people don't have proofs of that, especially for the people who are self-employed. There, if they are not filing the ITR, then the unsecured loans become a bit hard. So for the salaried people, it's going to be easy because you get the money in the bank account. But for the self-employed people, which is majority of the Janta, having small shops where they're earning well, it's just that they don't file taxes, they don't file ITR, and that's where they become ineligible for the unsecured loan. So many of the students that we get from upGrad has this kind of issues as well. And that's where I will recommend everybody who is listening me today, if you are going to apply for an unsecured loan, in that case, you should ask your parents or your family member that, okay, hey, do we file ITR or not? If not, then start filing. Like, it's better to have something than nothing. Even if you have 1 year ITR and overall good profile, then it will be better as compared to having no ITR at all. And if you're planning to go maybe next year or next to next year, then you have the couple of years to regularly file the ITR. Only 1 or 2 year ITR is required for an unsecured loan. Now, apart from that,
Yeah.
what
So
do
one
we?
thing, Aman, sorry to interrupt you. So
Yeah,
basically, if I talk about this secured and unsecured loan, is there any difference in terms of interest also?
yeah. So that's where I was coming to.
Okay.
Uh, so with my eyes closed, we recommend going for a secured loan.
Okay.
Right, that is the recommendation, and that holds true in all the situation. Right, the logic is very simple again, because you are giving a security. Bank has more trust in you. When they have more trust in you, the risk for them is less. When the risk for them is less, everything becomes easy. So you can see the difference. The rate of interest secured loan is somewhere around 9%. Right, this is even after when RBI has increased the rates couple of times in the last 6 months. Whereas unsecured loan, it starts at 10. Usually people get it at around 11-12%. So there is a difference of 2 to 3% in the interest rate itself. Now imagine somebody taking a loan of 20 lakh rupees. If they are taking a loan for 5 years, there will be a difference of interest for of 60,000 rupees per year. If you're taking it for 5 years, that is the difference of somewhere around 2 to 3 lakh rupees. When you opt for an unsecured loan, when you could have taken a secured loan. Apart from that, the chances of approval is high in secured loan. The repayment period is longer. So if you want, you can take up to 15 years to repay in secured loan, whereas the unsecured loan, it's relatively shorter, 7 to 10 years. Uh, and the best thing that which I mentioned is to start with as well, that in the secured loan from some players which we work with, there is no repayment required while you study. Your repayment starts after you graduate. So that is the best thing, right? That when you are going abroad, you're free. You don't have to pay any payments. You don't have to ask your parents to make any payments while you are abroad. And once you start earning, then you start repaying. Apart from that, the problem that I mentioned that, okay, hey, many self-employed people, they don't file ITR, which is mandatory in the unsecured loan. Whereas in the secured loan, that is not mandatory as well. So the solution for those people who don't file ITR is if they can find somebody who can give the collateral. Now, this collateral can belong to anyone, any relative, your friends as well. Anybody who is ready to pledge their property, you should be able to get a loan against that, or any FD that you have. So this is the difference, Ajay.
Yeah, that's good. So now, as we have mentioned that, rightly mentioned that, yes, more or less from for our learner, it is important for all of us to ensure that we go for secure loan. But sometime while taking counseling, I'm always concerned that student doesn't have all types of documents, right? So if you can throw some light on the documents which are required for secure loan.
Sure. So in terms of the documents required for the secured loan, so I'll go both ways.
Okay.
So there are some common documents which are always required, which is the basic KYC of applicant and co-applicant, right? Which is Aadhaar card, PAN card, bank statements. Apart from that, if you're applying for an unsecured loan, then the co-applicant financial documents will be required, which is ITR, salary slips, if in case of salaried person. Your academics document will be required, which is 10th, 12th mark sheet. If you're going for masters, then undergrad mark sheet will be required. And if you have given any exam, IELTS, GRE, TOEFL, GMAT, whatever, all of that scorecard will be required. Now, this is the common documents. Now, in secured loans, the property original documents will be required. So to do the process, you can give the photocopies, but once the loan is approved and when you actually want the money out of the bank, the original copies of the property documents will be submitted at the bank. Now, which are these documents? And this is where the problem comes in the secured loan, because what happens is majority of us inherit property from our fathers, grandfathers, forefathers, right? And along the way, so there are many documents that the government has introduced in the last 20, 30 years. And along the way, people tend to, misplace those documents as well. So what happens is in the secured loan, many people find out at the almost dead end that, okay, hey, now I don't have this document. And making each such document take months. It's a government process that we need to follow. So what we recommend is that if you're planning to take a secured loan, you can talk to us once right now to understand that, okay, hey, this is the list of the documents required. And it varies as per the location. So even in Delhi, in South Delhi, different documents are required as compared to East Delhi. In Mumbai, different documents are required in Thane compared to Navi Mumbai. So it varies compared to location as well. And that is all research that we have done at GyanDhan. And we give you the customized list basis your location of the property. But in general, the documents that will be required is the sale deed. The sale deed is a document which tells that, okay, this person owns the document. Now, another interesting document that most of the lenders required is the chain deed. Now, chain deed is something called it's a deed which mentions the list of all the owners in the last 30 to 50 years, which is something that the bank owns. Apart from that, the tax receipt that the bank will require of the property. And the last thing will be, and this goes by the different name in the different area, but something called the approved map or the local authority approval, where they have given approval of the building. So once you give all of these documents, the secured loan process is something like this. When you give all these documents, there is a property evaluator, financial evaluator, and there is a legal evaluator. So this person see all the document and evaluate the property, and then they tell the bank that, okay, hey, the value of the property is this much, whatever, 50 lakh, 30 lakh. Also, they matches if the property is being built as per the approved map. So let's say somebody who has had one extra room or one extra floor. So all of that then deemed to be illegal. And again, lawyer doesn't pass all of that. So then again, it goes to the bank that, okay, hey, this property is not passed. So all of this work is being done. And then the file goes to the credit manager at the bank. That, okay, this is the file, this is the legal evaluation, this is the financial evaluation. And again, all of this being done by GyanDhan. So we will come to your home, pick up the documents, go to the evaluator, go to the lawyer, get it all done, and we'll submit it to the branch to make it easy for you. So that is the requirement of documents and sort of documentation process.
So if I can understand properly, what we are talking about is registered sale deed.
Yeah.
We are talking about probably map. We're talking
Yeah.
about tax certificate, latest tax certificate.
Latest.
And in some areas, we call this as a mutation copy, which is
Yeah.
we call it as, chain, wherein, it
Yeah.
includes everything who has bought this and all, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we have seen that, many a time when it is an ancestral property and people are staying together, right? So it would be a property of, say, my grandfather. So
Yeah.
even do I require some legal, will or something of that sort?
Right. So if grandfather is there, then grandfather will have to sign the documents. But else, if let's say he is no more, in that case, if there are multiple children, and if there is no will, then all the children will have to sign the documents. Because bank doesn't want any dispute down the line that, okay, people are claiming that, okay, hey, I am the half owner and I am all of that. So that is something that bank doesn't want. And many times, such properties are sort of considered a bit risky, because if there are multiple people claiming to be the owner of the property, then again, bank don't want to get into this all legal uh, 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 work to retrieve the value of the property if in case the money is not repaid on time.
True. And typically we have seen many cases of a student who says that, Ki, sir, I want to, go for the secure loan, but I'm already having an existing home loan. So can I further go for it?
Right. So that depends, Ajay, on the value of the property.
Okay.
Right. Right. So let's say if I have a property of 50 lakh rupees,
Right.
and I already have 50 lakh rupees loan on that, or 45 lakh rupees loan on that. Right. So there is no room for another loan. Right. But let's say if I have 50 lakh rupee property, I have 20 lakh rupee loan, then there is a room of another 30 lakh rupees that you can take. But there, the limitation is that because the original documents cannot be with two banks. Right. So either the bank or the lender who has given you home loan extend you the education loan, or the lender which is giving you the education loan, we need to transfer the home loan there. So we, again, this, all of this is doable in a very simple process, but that needs to be done, and that takes a bit longer. So usually when people applying for a secured loan, in that case, they should have at least 25 to 30 days in their KT. Just, to be on the safer side, usually this takes 12 to 15 working days. But just to be on the safer side, keep a 1 month kind of a timeline.
So, it's my humble request to all my participants that, even I want to give you more time. So whenever we are trying to apply for CAS, it is confirmation of acceptance of studies, or maybe we are planning to go for I-20 in case of US, right? Or block account for Canada or Germany, I think that you should take a buffer of 2 months, right? Because ultimately this document sometimes require a time. But one question is coming to my mind, Aman, is suppose if I take a loan, how long, that letter is, I can take, is it 3 months, 6 months? Is there some validity on that letter once I get
Usually
approval from bank?
it's 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you
my dear
have to
friend, it should
take the
not be more
disbursement in
than
six
six
months.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Aman says, so I feel generally 2 months is a good time, right? So we should plan 2 months in advance. But please understand, we're not talking of visa. We are talking of, if I'm talking about US, let's plan 2 months before I-20. If I'm talking of cash and all, let's plan 1.5 to 2 months before that, right? So it will make
Yeah.
sense. And
Yeah.
smoothly before 15 days, we'll have all the arrangement of finance. Right,
Yeah.
Aman? Thank you.
Yeah.
Continue.
Right. So let's go ahead. So as I
Yeah.
mentioned that there are different kind of players as well. So we were just talking about different kind of loans. Now there are different kinds of players you can take the loan from. Now, one is the banks. Even in banks, there are two kind of players. One is the private banks, one is the public sector banks. Then there comes the NBFC, non-banking financial company. For everybody's understand, to give you an example of NBFC, Bajaj Finance. So Bajaj Finance is not a bank. Bajaj Finance is an NBFC from where you can take the loan. Then there are international lenders, that banks or lenders out of India who is giving loan to the Indian students. Right. Now there are pros and cons of all of them. Now let's talk about banks first. Now the bank, they're lower, the rate is lower compared to other players, and then you get the tax benefits that I was talking about. But their process is a bit complex comparatively, and more documentation is required. Whereas NBFC process is relatively simpler, but again they charge a premium for that. There is a ROI that will be charged, and at times there are opaque terms. Like they try to sort of at times cross sell you some insurances which is not required and all of that. So that's something we count as a con. Then there are international lenders. The good thing about them is that they can give you loan without collateral and without co-applicant. So they don't need anybody from your family as the co-applicant. But again, the limitation is that only to certain number of colleges and courses. And this is just limited to mostly US and Canada, 100 colleges. From there, if you're going to one of them, then you will be able to get loan without collateral, without co-applicant from them. And their process is much simplified. But they give loans to you in other currency, and there are no tax benefit. Now, when I say other currency, I'll give you an example. So let's say, let's talk about when we were in 2012. At that point in time, $1 was 45 rupees, right? And let's say at back then I wanted $50,000, which is 22.5 lakh rupees. Now, if that any person would have chosen, even if let's say the Indian loan is coming at 11% and US loan is coming at 9%, if that person would have chosen Indian loan, because one USD now is 80 rupees almost, he has to just pay half money to repay the loan. And there are mathematical models which tells that our currency is going to depreciate with time, because we are still a developing country and the currency depreciate in the difference of the risk-free return in both countries. I know it's going a bit technical, but the bottom point is that if you are taking loan in INR and earning in dollars, then you, and when the currency depreciate, you will have to spend less number of dollars to repay the same loan. And that is where international lenders don't come as the go-to option, even if they are giving loan without collateral, without co-applicant, even at the lower rate, because the currency depreciation every year, and in the longer term, because these are longer term loans, 5 years, 7 years, the currency will depreciate big time, and you will be at a loss if you take a other currency loan. But again, somebody has to go abroad, they are not able to get an INR loan, and they really want to go. It's a great option. Like go ahead and take a loan from an international lender. So now, if I just do the permutation combination, there are four kind of players offering 3 kinds of loan, right? So it's like 12 to 13 options. And then there are, for each option, there is a different terms and condition, different ROI. And one thing is that you can do all of this by going to each bank, talking to each bank, or you can, check the loan eligibility on GyanDhan and, find out immediately that, okay, this is the loan for you. This is the best loan for you. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what you could say is, what I could understand is, so our learner should logically go for loan with INR, because it may help you. Unfortunately, if the rupee depreciate, but in that case, it will be your benefit. So in that case, it is a better option for you if you go for INR loan, right?
Yeah.
And we have seen 2 or 3 times in slide tax benefit. So I mean, what is the percentage? If you can please just help us to understand, largely like.
Sure. So there are 2 kinds of taxes. One is when you do the Forex transaction. So in a financial year, if you send more than 7 lakh rupees abroad, if it is not an education loan, then they deduct 5% TCS, right? But if it is an education loan, then they just deduct 0.5% TCS. Okay. So there is one difference there. The second difference is your co-applicant. So whatever interest you are paying, let's say the loan is of 20 lakh rupees in a year. If you are paying 2 lakh rupees interest, 10% of 20 lakh rupees, right? So on that 2 lakh rupees earning, you don't have to pay tax to the government. So let's say if I am in a 30% tax bracket, so on that 2 lakh rupees, I am saving 30% of that, somewhere around 66,000 rupees per year. Like that is something that I would have paid to the government. Now I don't have to pay to the government, right? So these are the tax benefits that I'm talking about.
Okay. So one thing I'm wondering that, if I talk about tuition fee, so many a time we need to pay tuition fee in different semesters. So does the bank allows me or gives me the flexibility wherein the tuition fee can be paid in installments?
Yeah. So that's the great thing about bank, right? So what bank is doing when they're approving the loan, when they're sanctioning the loan, what they're saying is that you go study. They've kept aside, let's say 20 lakh rupees for you, whenever required, whatever required, right? Let's say first semester you need 5 lakh rupees. You just open the tape, get the 5 lakh rupees. You just have to pay interest on that 5 lakh rupees. That's it. In the second semester, if you take another 5 lakh rupees, so now total outstanding is 10 lakh rupees and you need to pay interest on 10 lakh rupees. Now, let's say if you got a scholarship or if you got a good part-time job, if you got a good internship and you don't need that money, so there is no penalty on that. So let's say out of the 20 lakh rupees that initially that was sanctioned and you just end up using 10 lakh rupees, you can do that. So that's a great thing, right? And that's why I was initially recommending as well that even if you don't need money, take an education loan, keep it aside, just keep it live by taking 1 lakh rupees disbursement. So anytime if you need money, you just open the tap, use it. If you don't need money, forget about it. So that's where the education loan comes in.
I mean, this is simply great. So that means this is something we are talking about CC limit, right?
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
like in
in a way.
bank, you get the CC limit. So it is
Yeah.
something of the same sort you have got the education loan. So I
Yeah.
was just wondering, like, what is the average cost like in terms of processing fee? It is an average, like
Right.
for
So
the learner.
usually it varies by the lender, but it is somewhere around 1%.
Okay.
1%. But now there are options like public sector bank that just charges 10,000 rupees, whatever be the amount.
So
Right.
that
So
means indirectly, as you are saying that just for the buffer, I take a 10 lakh rupees education loan. So hardly it will cost me 10,000 rupees. But then I will be secured of that, 10 lakh
yeah,
rupees is in my bank account. Whenever I need, I
yeah,
can use it. I mean, that's
yeah.
simply great, yeah, Aman. That's
Right,
great.
right.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that this processing fee is charged by the lenders. It
Right.
doesn't being charged by GyanDhan. So we are not charging anything from the student. Our services are completely free.
I mean, that's great. That's simply,
Yeah,
I mean, on behalf of student, I'd like to really clap for your service for this because, it will really help a student to save their cost. That's very
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So just to so I've already given my verdict. Like if you don't, if you want to apply yourself as well, you can do that. But the preference should be this public sector bank, private bank, then NBFC and international lenders. And these are the factors that you should consider. I'll go in a bit more details, just for the people who want to, understand more that what are the different things and all of that. So just for the secured loan, the loan amount you can get is up to 1.5 crore. So that we work with State Bank of India, we get it done from there. Rate of interest will be somewhere around 9.05%. And for men, 9. So this is for a girl student, there is a discount of 0.5%. And apart from that, as I mentioned, the processing fee is 10,000. You get loan for 15 years. Moratorium period is the period you're studying plus 6 months. At that time, you are not supposed to pay anything. And you can get up to 100% of the collateral value. So let's say if you have a 1 crore property, you will be able to get 1 crore rupees on that. Whereas in the unsecured loan, you can get as high as 75 lakh rupees. And that's something very new. Like when we started GyanDhan back in 2016, maximum you were able to get was 20 lakh rupees without collateral. So from there, we have come to a place where people are able to get 75 lakh rupees without collateral. Obviously, your profile needs to be that good for that. But usually 20 to 30 lakh rupees is something that everybody should be able to get as long as they have the ITR of the co-applicant. In here, the rate starts at 10%, goes as high as 11.5%. And the processing fee, because in here, the entire process is being done on GyanDhan platform. You just have to upload documents on a website for an unsecured loan. You don't have to go anywhere. Online, entire process will be done. In 3 to 5 working days, the entire process will be done. In terms of the eligibility, again, I think I've spoken about it, but again, you should be an Indian citizen. You should go to a recognized university. And I think where you are in the good hands when you are applying for an upgrad, because all the universities that they are partnered up with are recognized top university. You must have good qualification in your earlier exams. If you're applying for a secured loan, the collateral value should be equivalent to the loan amount. The collateral document should be in place. And depending on the location, some more documents can be required. When it comes to the unsecured loan, again, most of the requirement is the same. It's just that the difference will be that your ranking of the college course and the co-applicant earning will also be looked at. So yeah, the process is very simple. You just apply right now. Even if you're going next year, maybe next to next year, you can still go to the GyanDhan website and check loan eligibility. You will get a pre-approval right away. You will get to know right away whether you will be eligible for a loan or not. If not, then you will get a call from our team to help you understand what can you do to approve this loan. Once that is done, then we get the final approval from the lender, and we disburse the loan. So that is the process. So yeah, I think I have covered all the points that I wanted to cover. Ajay, would love to answer questions
Yeah,
from your
so
side.
what we can do, Aman, is now I'll be reading out a few of the questions that they have written, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the first question is interest starts from day we buy or 2 years later?
So the interest starts from whatever amount that you take out of the bank. It starts from day one. It starts accumulating with your principal amount, but
Right.
you
So
have to pay
indirectly,
after, yeah,
yeah. So
after 2.5.
preferably we can get moratorium wherein,
Yeah,
I mean, I can either go for simple interest only and the
yeah,
remaining can be paid once I finish my education plus 6 months of job search period.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So the next question is, what are the things included in collateral? And please say the terms and conditions behind it too.
Okay. So collateral, your property where you are living in house is acceptable. Plots are also acceptable. The only condition is that it should be clearly demarked. So usually there are open lands which are not acceptable. If it needs to be demarked clearly, the FDs are acceptable. So if you have any FD, your parents and FD against that, you can take a loan. If you have an insurance policy, the surrender value can be considered as the collateral. So let's say people usually have long LIC policies, and against that you can take the loan. Government bonds are acceptable. So these are acceptable. Some things which are not acceptable is your stocks, mutual funds. All of these are not acceptable because that are subject to the market risk. Apart from that, you cannot take education loan against gold. If you have a gold, then you can take loan against gold loan. But education loan you cannot take against gold.
And many a times we have a confusion regarding agricultural land.
Yeah. So the issue is that as per the RBI rules, no lender is able to approve the loan on the agricultural land. And for that matter, Gram Panchayat land as well. So that is not acceptable. Gram Panchayat land or agricultural land. In such cases, we recommend either apply for an unsecured loan or get a property of any relative who doesn't have an agricultural land. And many a times there is a process through which you can convert your Gram Panchayat land to a known Gram Panchayat land. But that again takes time. But that is also a scenario that can happen.
So more or less, I think the proper something like flats are very easy. Something like even shops, which has a boundary. But then if it is a land, in that case, it has to be had a boundary of at least wall or something wiring.
Yeah,
This is what is general acceptance. And my dear friend, please understand, agricultural land is generally not acceptable. So let's
yeah,
plan according to that only. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So the next question is, but education loan only includes tuition fee money, right?
No,
No.
everything. Yeah,
Everything.
yeah,
Yeah. So Anushri, it includes everything, whether you talk about tuition fee or living expenses. And as he has mentioned, including, your laptop and everything is being included, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the Tej is asking, please say about interest rate on that 12 different loan. So I think you can help them to understand the range.
Right, right. So as I mentioned, so I'll go to that slide again. So secured loan, the rate is fixed. It is approximately 9%. It varies as the RBI changes the repo rate because the base rate changes accordingly. So for the secured loan from the public sector bank, it will be somewhere around 9, 9.2, 9.8.7 or something like that. Unsecured loan varies from 10 to 14%. But the majority of the students will get somewhere around 10.5 to 11.5% or 12% at least. But now there can be a case where let's say CIBIL is very bad. In that case, even if bank is approving, then they will charge a sort of a premium in such cases. So in that case, it can go as high as 13% or so. But for 95% of the students will get it 10.5 to 12% in the unsecured.
So we can say secure loan is 9 to 10. Unsecured loan is say 11 to 12 or 13 as
Yeah,
the case may be.
yeah.
And the last one, the loan which is on without any collateral and without any security, is it somewhere 16 to 18?
No, no, no. So there, because it's in USD loans,
Huh.
usually they comes at 9-10% only.
Okay.
But again, those are not directly comparable with the Indian loans, right? Because of the currency depreciation. If there had been no currency depreciation, that would have been perfect. But there is a currency. So understand in this way that they are giving loan without collateral, without collateral. It's a free market. If they're taking more risk, they need to charge higher premium. It's just
True.
because the currency is different, they are able to report a different number. But if I have to truly convert it into an Indian INR loan, it will be somewhere around what you mentioned, 14-15%.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, a typical question by Tejas, it says that, can I show multiple small lands in different places as a collateral?
You can, as long as all property documents are possible. We have done a loan where we actually accumulated 4 property in 4 different locations.
Okay.
It took like 3 months, because what happens is at every location there will be a different lawyer, different evaluator. All of them will send their files to the main center. So all of this happens. But yeah, if there is that is the only way for you, we will do it for you.
True. Then a very important and a difficult question. If parents are retired, Aman, can I still go for unsecured loan?
See, so what they will do is they will take your parents as the co-applicant, but they will ask an additional co-applicant, right? So they will ask if somebody from family who is younger can also be the co-applicant. That is something that they will ask. But if parents are earning well, like they're receiving 50, 60, 70,000 per month, that's a good sign. You should be able to get, as long as there is another person who can come, even if his or her income is not that much, because all they want is that, right? See, bank looks at all the factors. They know that, okay, if it's there is a retired person, there is a chance that that person, because these are 10-15 year longer loans, that person might not be there by the time the loan ends. So they need a younger person as well. So bank has to look at all the scenarios. So they look after such a thing, and they ask for another applicant. Here, if you have if you are going to good college, good scores, all that helps a lot. Like in all the tricky, difficult situation, what it ends up at, okay, who is the student, like what he or she has done in life, he or she is going to do. If, let's say, if you are already earning well in India, well, as in you are already earning 4-5 lakh rupees in India, right? That gives a boost to the bank that, okay, he or she is already doing something here in India. Now, when he's going abroad, he is living that aspirational person, you know, then all of these soft factors also consider into the picture, which, you cannot document. But ultimately, many decisions are taken, manually. And again, human factor we cannot ignore.
That's true. So as you said, in case of parents are retired, we can go for a co-applicant, even who is a younger. But in that case, he must be filing either ITR, or maybe if a business, it has to have some like current
Yeah,
account or
he
balance sheet.
needs to be a financial co-applicant. So
Yes, he
minimum
needs.
20,
Yes.
25,000
So my dear
rupees.
friend, please understand, he needs to be a financial co-applicant. And
Yeah.
as I mentioned, if it is a case of business, in that case, probably he'll be requiring current account, he'll be requiring balance sheet of at least 2 years, and then income tax return, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, then the next question is, I have done my 10th and 12th from NIOS open board. Can I apply for study abroad? I mean, see, it depends. I mean, this is not related to education loan. This is related to study abroad. So this is, we have to check. But then, my dear friend, after pandemic, things have become quite difficult, and the universities are even not accepting the open degrees, right? If it is something like IGNOU, it is fine. But then otherwise, I mean, it's going to be a difficult. So what we can suggest you is, you can contact to our counselor. They'll be helping you. We'll call your documents, and then we can help you, right? Okay. So where all can I apply for scholarship for ECW MBA? So once again, Priya, our counselor can help you. This is not question related to Aman. Okay. Is gap accepted? Once again, this is a question related to study abroad, not to education loan. Okay, Priya. Okay. How can I connect with GyanDhan? So yes, you can connect directly with GyanDhan, or our counselor will also help you to connect with the GyanDhan, because we are the authorized, we have a tie-up with GyanDhan. So
Yeah.
definitely we can help you with that. Okay. Mohammed, I want to ask, when should I apply for my loan? My intake will be in April 23.
Right. So that's an interesting question. When should you apply, right? So what we recommend, basis our experience in the industry for more than 7 years now, is you check once while you are applying. As I mentioned, that if there is any red flag, I can tell you right away that, okay, your property has this document missing, or co-applicant don't have ITR. So you check once. Only one conversation of 15 minutes is all it will take to understand if there are any red flags. So one conversation right now when you are applying or before applying, then the moment you get an admit, you don't wait after that, because once you get an admit, after that I'm sure there are deadlines, visa deadlines, university fee deadline, and all of that. Though they give you respectable time of 1 month and 2 months, but again, we don't want you to be in the tricky situation when you are stuck because of some document. So the day you receive an admit, pick up the call, get in touch, and say that I have received the document, and we'll get the loan done in 3 to 5 working days. As Ajay also asked initially, that loan sanction is eligible for 6 months, right? So just get it done with, keep aside, and focus on other things.
True. Right. So if the land is in rural area, does it affect the valuation of property?
See, so the value of the property is as per the government circle rates. And obviously in the rural area, the circle rates will be lower than the urban area. Yeah.
That's true. Okay. So one of the question asked by Richa is, suppose property of 1 crore, then how much percentage loan will I get from GyanDhan?
So if needed, we will be able to give you entire 1 crore on that property of 1 crore.
My God, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it is as good as 100%.
It goes at 100%. Yeah.
That's true. That's perfect. Okay. Ravi, Ravi wants to ask, is there any different condition for getting a loan for undergraduate or graduate program?
Right. So more or less the process and everything is same. The eligibility criteria differs. I'll tell you why. For the undergrad, it's a longer course. The tenure is higher, and the requirement of the money is higher. So usually people need 80-90 lakh rupees. If you're going to US, Canada, or even on the lower side, 60-70 lakh rupees.
True.
Getting that much money unsecured is difficult. And that's why mostly undergrad loans happens with loan with collateral. So that is the only difference in terms of the eligibility criteria. No difference in the process, nothing else.
Perfect. One of the question asked by someone is, does the bank consider the student's performance or marks while giving the loan?
Yes, as I mentioned, that having a good academic profile give you that edge, especially in the boundary cases. That, okay, this student has done something, bank will be willing to take bets there.
True. Does the co-applicant needs to be your family member only?
It needs to be relative in unsecured loan. In secured loan, the property can belong to anyone. In unsecured loan, it needs to be relative, and it need not be far-fetched. Like it can go to cousin, uncle, aunt, either side, but it cannot be uncle's father-in-law, right? That will be far-fetched.
Perfect. Okay. Does my IELTS exam and coaching fees includes in loan and other expenses?
Yeah. So because at the time of applying for the IELTS, you are not having a loan, right? You can get it reimbursed later.
Okay, that's great. So even that 15,500 registration fee can be reimbursed.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Even what you are paying to upgrad can also be reimbursed.
Oh, that's great. But then coincidentally, they don't pay anything to us. So that gives me a good idea that we should start, asking money from the student, because GyanDhan can reimburse it.
Yeah, we can.
That's it. That's it. Okay. I want to go for unsecured loan. How much maximum can I get? Can I get up to 17 lakh? And after receiving call from, should I apply for the loan? So, I would like to reframe its question. Generally, unsecured loan is still what amount? And does it actually depends on the ITR of the co-applicant?
Yes. So usually 20 to 40 lakhs is the range which you should be able to get. Now, if on a 20 lakh rupees loan, the co-applicant income should be 35,000 rupees per month. For a 40 lakh rupee loan, the co-applicant income somewhere should be, you can just extrapolate 65,000 rupees per month.
Perfect. Now, interesting question. Can I get two education loans simultaneously, one secured and one unsecured?
See, so there is no rule that tells you cannot take two education loans. It's just that the second bank will not give an education loan, right? When they know that you have an education loan already, and you cannot hide that. You because they will be able to see it in the CIBIL. Now, what ends up happening is that sort of a tip, you can take one education loan from the Indian lender and another education loan from the international lender. There, that's a possibility, and they don't mind as well. So international lender says that, okay, if you have taken 40 lakh rupees from, let's say, SBI, you need another 10 lakh rupees, we'll do it for you. In fact, GyanDhan also is an NBFC, apart from being a marketplace. So at times, whenever 5-10 lakh rupees extra needed, GyanDhan can also do it, depending on the profile. But international, so the trick there is that one loan from the Indian lender, other loan from the international lender.
That's good. One of the learner or participant asked that, can you give a brief guidance in relation to South Korea or Canada? So do we give even international loans, to students of this citizenship?
See, so usually, is it the citizenship or is it people going to that country?
So I think if you are, it's anonymous. So if you are listening to this, so if you can please clarify whether you're talking about citizenship or you're talking about it is written in relation to South Korea or Canada.
Right. So I can give a clear answer. You need to be an Indian student taking loan from the Indian lender, right?
Right. That is, you need to have a passport holder of India.
Yeah. Right. So that's clear. Yeah. Now from the international lender, you can take the loan, but then that's an international lender. But all the lender that are working in India are, when you are applying in India, they are sort of considering you as an Indian student only. Now, if you're from South Korea, then if you need to check if that international lender works in South Korea.
Perfect. So now this is a study abroad question. If I have got 47.2% in BCom, then can I go for master in Germany and can I get the loan? So my dear friend, first you need to give us your documents. We will check that whether your passing criteria is of 35, 40 or 50. So because nowadays the new German GPA has been announced wherein you need to score less than 3.5 out of 5, wherein 1 is the highest. So I'll request you to kindly get back to upGrad team and share your documents and transcripts so that we'll tell you whether 47.2% is acceptable or not. Okay. Okay. So, a very, generalized question, Aman. Can I start my loan process? Of course, I'll be requiring admit letter for that.
Right. So, there is something called pre-admit loan as well.
Okay.
So, I'll give you a loan telling you that, okay, as long as you are getting admission in reputed university, then let's say if you are looking for a secured loan, then we'll do everything, evaluation, everything, and they'll tell you that, okay, this much is, you will get a soft approval that you will be eligible for this much loan given you get an admit. So that is a possibility, but usually it used to happen like a lot earlier, because earlier the long processes were longer, 1 month, 2 months. But now you get an admit, we are getting it done in unsecured loan literally 3 days, and secured loan 10 to 12 days. So once you get an admit, the process itself is no longer anymore, at least with GyanDhan. So that's not the use case, common use case now.
Perfect. Now a typical question for US, now that GR is waived off for universities, is it going to affect education loan if they are not applying for GRE?
No, as long as you got an admit, bank doesn't care how you got an admit. Is it by giving the GRE or by management quota, whatever be the case. Once you have an admit, you have an admit.
Okay, so can I get a loan from any bank after getting loan from Social Welfare Department Prabuddha scheme?
So yeah, you can. If it's a like sort of a grant or sort of a scholarship, you can let bank know that you got that money from there. You can take another loan. Yeah.
Okay, so this has bring to the end of the session, wherein almost we have covered all the session questions of the participant. Aman, believe me, this has been a very interactive session, and I hope it has really helped our learners to have a good sense of what education loan is all about. And my dear friend, as I've told you, I don't want anyone to be deprived of overseas education as you don't have finances. So GyanDhan is always there with you. Aman and team is always there with you to help you so that you can achieve your dream of overseas education with upGrad. And we have a direct tie-up with GyanDhan wherein we can always support our learners to get the education loan and make sure that yes, this education loan is at a reasonably rate, right? Now it's very important for all of us to have this financial literacy before applying for the loan, because it doesn't make sense ki sab ho jayega, and when it comes the time of visa and then you are running away, mere paas paisa nahi hai. It doesn't work in that way. So let's have a planning. As he rightly pointed out, you can at least send your documents and understand whether you are eligible for the secured loan or mortgage loan or not, so that then you can think of, or maybe you have some time to think of or arrange for the documents. But then yes, in nutshell, if I'm talking about secured loan, I need to have a property document which is registered sale deed. It needs to have a mutation. It needs to have a clear certificate. It needs to have taxes and all, right? So believe me, it's not so difficult, provided you have a good documents to show. So with this intention, I think that yes, we have really helped our learners to understand the process of education loan. So from upGrad team, from upGrad Abroad management, Aman, I'm thankful so much that you have given us your time and help our learners to understand the process of education loan. So last, just one line from Aman, which can really help our learners to get for this.
Right. So, first of all, thanks a lot for inviting. I really enjoy, having interacting with the especially upGrad students. There are so many questions always, but I'll say two things, not one. One is now abroad education used to be aspiration earlier, right? Earlier it used to be for elite, but not anymore, right? So definitely one should consider studying abroad. And especially, what kind of projections we are looking at. We are looking at, okay, by 2026, almost 20-25 lakh students will go abroad every year. So in the next 4-5 years, almost 1 crore people will go abroad, which is a great, like, very high number. And the next generation that is coming out will have in all the resumes a degree from abroad. So if you are not evaluating that, you should have a legit reason why not going abroad. Like, I have chosen to not study abroad because for my career aspiration, I feel that, okay, what I'm doing, I will be able to achieve what I want without an abroad degree. You need to take that decision yourself. And it's not an aspiration anymore. It's a basic requirement now. Second is, now you shouldn't just go with blindly with any financial option. You like it should not be the case that, okay, your senior took the loan from there, your friend took the loan from there, you're taking it from there. You need to evaluate each bank, each option. You need to sort of check what will be the financial implement. I can tell you, by opting for the right loan option, you will be able to gift a car to your parents for sure. By save, you will be able to save that much, and that is where again we come into the picture. So yeah, do proper research before blindly going out with the one loan option. But that's it. Thanks a lot, Ajay, for giving us this opportunity to interact with all the amazing people. And thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Aman. Thank you so much, GyanDhan. So at the end, whether we are planning for US, we are planning for UK, you're planning for Canada, you're planning for Germany, you're planning for Ireland, or you're planning for Australia, we are always there to help you, whether it is a bachelor's course or master's course, whether it is IT course or management course. Study abroad only with upGrad Abroad with an education loan from GyanDhan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye and take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.